Ah yes, the Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games have finally concluded, the epitome of winter sport, and this year's Games also proved it to be the epitome of drama and comedy, ranging from career enders and dominant performances to some, well, interesting Valentine's Day decisions, and also a bid from the curlers to be in the next Netflix drama series. We truly were treated to a spectacle of a Games, but we'll get onto that later. For now, strap yourselves in as we go on a day-by-day tour of the 2026 Winter Olympics. The opening ceremony was held here in Italy, and was a good start to these games with a few things within it which actually made sense, unlike a certain Summer Olympics which took place 2 years ago. The Italians brought a lot to the table, being topped off with a performance of Nessun Dorma by Andrea Bocelli. Every athlete was actually at the San Siro Stadium in Milan, since most events took place anywhere but Milan or Cortina. But every athlete did participate in each of the towns where their event was held, being led out by some absolute geezers wearing whatever these silver slug jacket things are. Absolutely iconic. This was a very good start to these Olympics, but was it really the start? Technically, the games began before the actual opening ceremony, with events such as the curling and women's ice hockey beginning on the days prior to the ceremony. On day -2, the only notable thing to actually occur was the start of the round robin for the mixed curling. As expected, the good teams won and the bad teams lost. But more specifically, Team GB's Jen Dodds and Bruce Mowat were striving for gold after failing to receive the bronze at the 2022 Games in Beijing. Could they get the job done this time as the powerhouses of the sport? Day -1 had a bit more variety than day -2, but we did still start off with more curling, right through the whole day basically. Great Britain's Jen Dodds and Bruce Mowat continued their hot start by blowing out Estonia, while teams like the USA and Italy started their own campaigns for the medals as well. The start of the women's ice hockey also began on this day. Germany was blown out by medal contender Sweden 4-1 early in the morning, whilst France were also unsurprisingly destroyed 4-1 by the Italians, and the United States began their hunt for gold by crushing Czechia 5-1. Questa mattina mi sono alzato. And we finally made it back to the day of the opening ceremony. More curling preliminaries continued, with Great Britain's Jen and Bruce continuing their dominance by beating the underdog Swedish brother and sister team, while Italy decided they were going to be the greatest team to ever play the game, going ballistic and scoring 12 against the usually cool and consistent Swiss. France and Japan treated us to a nail-biter in the ice hockey, with Japan squeezing out a win, 3-2. The figure skating team event also began on this day, but I didn't really watch much of the figure skating, so if that's what you're here for, then sorry. Anyway, curling continued to carry on throughout the day with the usual teams winning, and Sweden lost 9-0 versus Norway. How on earth? Okay? Afterwards, there was a tight hockey game between the Swiss and Czechia, heading to a shootout in which Switzerland got a win to start off their campaign for the medals. And finally, the Olympics has officially started, and immediately we have 4 gold medal events today. But first, it's time for more of everybody's favourite sport, curling. The mixed doubles curling started the morning with Team Inconsistent, Team Sweden pulling out a massive win versus the Swiss. And on the other side of the ice, British pairing of Dodds and Mowat continued to not put a foot wrong. Could the British pair continue this dominance and bring home gold? Our first medal event of the day was the men's alpine downhill skiing, and what a competition this was. But one man stepped up at the starting gate and absolutely tore through the track before flying over one of the jumps with an absolutely outrageous technique not used by anybody else, speeding down like a missile to take home the gold for Switzerland. This knocked Italy's Giovanni Franzoni into silver and Dominic Paris into bronze, with the first gold of the games going to Franjo van Almen of Switzerland. And I'm gonna be totally honest, I didn't watch everything, and this is one of the events I only tuned into in the last 10 minutes, but it was the women's 10x10 kilometer skiathlon, whatever the hell that means. Either way, Sweden bagged a 1-2 finish in this event, with Frida Karlsson taking the gold, while the Norwegian powerhouse started moving, claiming the bronze with Heidi Weng. More curling occurred over lunch, with Great Britain continuing to dominate, now moving to a 7-0 record, and the Swedes continued their hot streak, beating out the Italians. The next medal event of the day was yet another one I didn't watch. The women's 3000 speed skating took a place, and Italy took the gold, Norway took the silver, and Canada won their first medal of the games with the bronze. The rest of the day was rounded out by the USA destroying Finland in the women's ice hockey 5-0, and Canada's women started their gold medal campaign in the ice hockey as well, beating out Switzerland 4-0. The final medal event of the day was another one I didn't watch, the women's normal hill individual ski jumping, where gold went to Norway, silver to Slovenia, and bronze to Japan. And there was also some more team figure skating that happened, but yeah, didn't watch that. And a quick edit here, I forgot that the men's big air happened on this night, but either way, Japan came home with a 1-2 and China got the bronze there. Day 2 started insanely early, with the poor women's luge training beginning at 7 AM. But the first televised event was the curling, which began in the morning, but no one really had their eyes on it. All eyes were on the women's alpine downhill skiing. At age 41, American Lindsey Vonn had come out of retirement to claim gold at these games, but having torn her ACL just 9 days earlier, she nearly couldn't race. But there she stood at the top of the mountain, racing with no ACL. Could she top off an already illustrious career with a fairy tale ending? No. Sadly, Vonn crashed out at the top of the hill, fracturing her leg and having to get helicoptered off to hospital, likely ending her career as one of the greatest downhill skiers of all time. A fellow American, Breezy Johnson, took the gold, with Germany's Emma Eicher missing out on gold by 0.04 seconds, and Italy's Sofia Goggia taking the bronze. In brighter spirits, Mr. Inevitable then hit the mountain trails into zero to claim the first gold of an attempted 6 at these games. Yes, that's right, Johannes Hersfeld Klarbo took his first gold in the 10x10 km skiathlon, attempting to claim 6 golds at these games. Could it be done? Could the human body do such a thing? I guess you'll have to wait and find out. The biathlon mixed relay also took place today, with France securing their first gold of the games and their first gold in biathlon. And then it was time for more curling. Trying to complete the clean sweep of the round robin, the first signs of cracks were beginning to show in the GB team as they lost to Switzerland. Across the ice, the Swedish team continued their hot streak, beating out Canada, while Italy dominated Czechia 8-2. Then time for another gold medal event I didn't watch, which was the men's 5,000 metre speed skating, where Norway took gold, Czechia the silver, and the bronze went to Italy. This was shortly followed by Sweden destroying France in the women's ice hockey, shortly followed by the men's luge, where you can always rely on Germany to take the gold, which was then shortly followed by an evening of curling, with Great Britain potentially getting back on track for the gold, beating the Italians. Finland's women continued to look poor in the ice hockey, losing to Czechia, and the night was rounded out by the figure skating team event, where the USA took gold, Japan the silver, and Italy continued to make it rain bronze medals, with the third bronze of the day for the host nation. This day also boasted the snowboard parallel slalom event for both the men and the women, and my god, this event was electric. With the men's event, 40-year-old Benny Carl stormed down the slopes to take gold, and also to take his top off, giving every middle-aged woman a new celebrity crush. In the women's event, Esta Ledecka was aiming for a third consecutive gold in this event. However, she was knocked out in the quarterfinals, and fellow Czech athlete Zuzana Madarova took gold. Curling once again began our day as the final games of the round robin were played. With all the results totted up, I can now reveal to you that Great Britain's dream team qualified as the number 1 seed, followed by the United States in second, then Italy, and finally the inconsistent underdog Sweden. After this, we had the women's freestyle skiing slopestyle final. Mathilde Gaumard came out of absolutely nowhere to send it on her second run, securing the Swiss yet another gold, with the normally invincible Eileen Gu looking a bit shaky and nervous getting the silver, and Canadian Megan Oldham beat Team GB's Kirsty Muir by 0.4 of a point. This would only be the start of 4th places yet to come for Great Britain. But next, eyes turned to the slopes of Bormio, where the men's team combined downhill and slalom skiing took place. Giovanni Franzoni gave Italy the edge heading into the slalom runs, but his teammate could not get the job done, losing time to the Austrians and the Swiss, as Franja von Aumann cruised to yet another gold medal with his teammate Tanguy Neff for Switzerland. And in this event, we had our first double medal of the games, with Austria's Team 1 and Switzerland's Team 1 achieving exactly the same time, both being awarded the silver medal. We then jumped to the speed skating where it was Netherlands' time to shine. Jutta Leerdam secured her first medal of the games across the women's 1000 metres, with teammate Femke Kok taking silver and Japanese Miho Takagi receiving the bronze. It was then time for the curlers to step up in the mixed doubles semi-finals, who could take their country to the gold medal match. The USA got an unconvincing win over Italy to guarantee them a medal, and over the other side of the ice, well, the dominant Brits had ran out of steam, leading to Team Inconsistent to destroy Jen Dodds and Bruce Mao at 9-3, sending the Swedish pair to the gold medal game versus Team USA. Surely the Brits wouldn't let themselves lose the bronze medal game like they did in 2022 this time round, though. Surely not, right? The women's big air took centre stage next, which was one of the greatest big air finals ever. The women were sending it down a 40-metre high ramp, and world champion Mia Brooks was gunning for gold for Great Britain. This competition was genuinely electric, and Brooks was set in 4th place for her final jump. She absolutely sent it. She tried a trick never landed before in competition to try and claim gold, but she barely over-rotated, scuffing the landing and causing her to land in 4th place. Can we get a Team GB 4th place counter in here, please? Thank you very much. Japan's Koko Murase took gold, defending champion Zoe Sadowski-Synnott took the silver, and the bronze went to Shengwen Yu. Now the next event that happened was the men's normal hill individual ski jumping. Gold went to Germany, Poland bagged the silver, and what's this? It's our second double medal of the games already, with Japan's Ren Nekaido and Switzerland's Gregor Deutschfanden, I think I pronounced that right, share the bronze. The day would then rounded out with women's ice hockey, where the US and Canada both scored 5 goals versus their opponents to continue their winning records. On day 4, literally nothing of note happened in the morning. After the world's least exciting morning, we had 5 back-to-back medal events. The mixed team relay for short track speed skating was a chaotic thriller in which Italy claimed gold, Canada the silver, and Belgium the bronze. This was swiftly followed by the women's sprint in the cross-country skiing, where the Swedes achieved a 1-2-3, and they did this by some distance to the 4th place finisher. This was then followed by the biathlon, in another event that I didn't watch, but Norway achieved gold and bronze, with France's Erik Perrot being in a Norwegian sandwich claiming the silver. Then it was the return of Johannes Høstflot Klæbo in the men's cross-country skiing sprint classic. Unsurprisingly, Klæbo looked comfortable throughout before channeling his inner Forrest Gump and gapping the rest of the field, taking a very comfortable gold.
Run! Johannes. Run!
That's 2 of 6. USA's Ben Ogden won the silver, and Norwegian Oscar Veit claimed the bronze in the same event. After these thrillers, we then moved to the women's team combined alpine skiing, where Austria's Team 2 won gold, Germany won the silver, and USA Team 2 winning the bronze. And now it's time for the mixed doubles curling bronze medal game. Could Italy pull off the upset versus Great Britain, leaving Team GB with yet another 4th place? Yes, they could. Once again, heartbreak for the British pair. Next up came the curling final, where Team Inconsistent Sweden played the USA. It was a close, hard-fought game throughout, but ultimately, Sweden took control where they needed to, claiming victory to win gold over the USA. Then, well, it was time for women's luge, where Germany obviously shone and took the gold, with Latvia getting silver and USA the bronze in one of the weirdest sports out there. Now, for an event I didn't realise existed, it's the mixed team ski jumping. Slovenia stole gold away from the Norwegian team, whilst Japan came in to nab the bronze. Ice hockey then rounded up the night, and Team USA absolutely dominated the Canadian women, winning 5-0 and raising questions about whether the Canadian team could win their next gold in the ice hockey. Today was also the day of the men's free ski slopestyle, where Norway took the gold, USA the silver, and New Zealand the bronze. Earlier in the day we also had a feature from the men's figure skaters, where Ilya Maladin, aka the Quad God, got off to a fantastic start, leading the standings going into the next day. And today also featured our first real bit of drama, where this guy decided it would be a great idea to announce that he'd cheated on his girlfriend 3 months ago on global TV. That's a great Valentine's gift, that is, buddy. And the social media backlash that this guy had was just crazy. You just need to go and look at some of the comments yourselves. Our first major event of the day was the men's alpine skiing with the Super G, a more technical and slightly slower version of the downhill. Unsurprisingly, we witnessed Franjo van Almen get the clean sweep over the downhill medals, winning his third gold of the games in this event, rewriting the history books as just the fourth man to do so. The cross-country part of the men's Nordic combined came next, in which Norway came out on top, with Austria getting the silver, Finland the bronze, in another event that I didn't watch. Now moving to the cross-country skiing, but this time with weapons. The women's 15km biathlon showed off why France is the team to beat in this discipline. The French secured a 1-2 with Julia Simon and Lou Genamont, while Bulgaria claimed their first medal of the games, winning bronze with Laura Histova. The men's ice hockey then got underway, and this competition ended up being one of the most electric tournaments for a really long time, because NHL players have finally been allowed to play back for the first time since 2010. The first game of the ice hockey was between Slovakia and Finland, where Slovakia won 4-1. Speed skating and doubles luge up next, where the men's 1000 meter skating was won by the USA, with the Dutch getting silver and China claiming the bronze. Women's double luge, it was surprising that the Italians took home the gold instead of the Germans, who claimed silver, and then the Austrians, who took the bronze. The men's double luge was similarly weird, with the Germans only getting bronze, Austria the silver, and Italy the gold. The evening finished out with the start of the men's team curling, and also the figure skating ice dance. France bagged the gold in that, USA the silver, and Canada the bronze. Our second of the men's ice hockey was between Sweden and Italy, where at one point it was 2-2 until Sweden pulled ahead to win 5-2. We also had a feature from the women's moguls today in a sport which just destroys your knees. Don't know why anybody would willingly do that, but the Americans achieved a 1-2, with France achieving the bronze. Would you believe it, but curling starts off the day, this time with the women's round robin. The expected team pulled out wins, especially the Canadians, who won their game versus Denmark 10-4. The first medal event of the day was the women's Super G, where we had the Italian Federica Brigogna winning gold, France's Roman Miradoli taking silver, and Austria's Cornelia Reuter claiming the bronze in a very exciting competition. The women's 10k cross-country skiing was up next. Could the Swedes repeat what they did on day 4? Well, not quite. Sweden secured the gold with Frida Karlsson, and Eva Andersson took the silver, and it was the American Jessie Diggins who spoilt the party for Team Sweden, taking the bronze. Up next was a pretty fun men's snowboard cross final, where Austria won gold and bronze, and Canada ruined the 1-2 by claiming the silver, another party pooper in the day. We had the women's 5km speed skating up next. The Dutch continued their successful start by taking silver, but it was the Italian Francesco Lollobrigida who was cooking and claiming the gold as Norway took bronze. But all of this was overshadowed by something else. Today was also the day we got to see Team Canada's men take the ice for the ice hockey for the first time, with McDavid, Sidney Crosby, McKinnon, Macklin Celebrini all out there on the ice, putting on a great show, and my gosh, I was excited for this. The level of talent on the team was crazy, and they got off to a great start, absolutely destroying a very good Czechia team 5-0, making them look just about as helpless as a baby with a spoon trying to eat cereal. Germany then got back to its winning way in the luge team relay, with Austria winning silver and Italy the bronze. After even more curling, we then had the women send it down the halfpipe on a snowboard. And I wish I could provide more info for this event, but I was busy watching Team BB women lose the curling versus China, which they really should have won. Anyway, the snowboard halfpipe was won by Korean Gawon Chao, silver was won by American Chloe Kim, and Japan's Mitsuki Ono took home the bronze. Later in the day, we were graced to more best-on-best action in the men's ice hockey, where the USA secured a win over Latvia, who held on to the game for a surprisingly long amount of time, and Germany, headed up by Leon Draisaitl, managed to beat Denmark. Ice hockey was followed by the short track speed skating. First up was the women's 500 metres, where Dutch woman Zandra Velzebol won gold over Italy's golden girl Ariana Fontana, with Canadian Courtney Saralat winning the bronze. And the Dutch continued their golden day, winning gold with Jens van Twert in the men's 1000 metre speed skating as well. Earlier in the day, we also had a feature from the men's moguls, where Australia took their first gold of the games, Canada took the silver, and Japan took the bronze. Day 7 began with the men's curling round robin, where Team Switzerland continued their unbeaten streak beating Czechia, but world ranked number 1 Team GB lost to the Italians. We then swiftly moved over to the cross-country skiing for the men's 10 kilometers, and I'm pretty certain you could probably guess who won this event. Yep, that's right, Clavo won another gold with his third of the games, with the 6 goals looking more and more likely by the day. But could he keep this pace up, or would his body fail him before the 6th gold? We were then treated to more best-on-best men's ice hockey, with Finland making light work of an unsettled Sweden team and Slovakia taking care of business versus the Italians in a game that probably ended a little bit too close for comfort. The men's 10km biathlon sprint came next, where France continued their dominance, taking gold, while Norway continued to pile up the medals, stealing silver and bronze. Women's curling took us over lunch, and reigning champions Team GB could not win a game to save their lives, putting their semi-final hopes in jeopardy. Women's snowboard cross then got our full attention as Australia bagged their second gold of the games, with Czechia taking the silver and Italy continuing their great games by winning the bronze. The men's 10km speed skating was up next, where Czechia won the gold, Poland the silver and the Dutch claiming the bronze. More ice hockey came next, and Czechia's men's team made light work of France, and Sweden's women's team also then shut out Czechia. Then it was time for the quad god to step up in the figure skating. After leading the standings all day, he looked set to take gold in one of the most dominant performances ever. But in this free skate, he fell over multiple times, essentially throwing away the individual gold he looked so set to take. No one is quite sure what happened. Was it just the pressure, or was it that specific patch of ice where a few other athletes also fell? Either way, Kazakhstan won the gold instead, with the Japanese clearing out the rest of the podium. More men's curling up next, and my gosh, this session was a bit dramatic. Canada played defending champion Sweden in a close games, and Mark Kennedy was accused of cheating by the Swedish team, to which he had the perfect response.
You can fuck off!
Turned out that he had actually been cheating the entire time by double touching the stone, creating one of the best memes to come out of the Olympics. After curling gate, we were then graced by the men's snowboard halfpipe. 30-year-old veteran Scotty James was looking to finally win gold, but was pipped out by Yuto Totsuka from Japan. I honestly do feel that James was undermarked on his final run, but that might just be the bias talking after seeing him miss out on gold twice before and after watching his great Netflix documentary before the event. Up next was the final run of the men's skeleton bob, and this was so much fun to watch. Germany took the silver and the bronze, but it was finally time for Team GB to win a medal. At rank world number 1, Matt Weston absolutely destroyed the field to take gold, setting a new track record on each of his 4 runs. The guy was absolutely dominant, and it made me so happy to see my country finally win a medal after way too many 4th places. Men's ice hockey then finished off the day with the USA murdering the Italian team and Canada destroying Switzerland, where Conor McDavid was averaging 1 point per period, displaying unprecedented dominance. And that's going to wrap up part 1 of this 2-part video. Make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to make sure you don't miss out on the next few videos coming out about the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. I have a plan for a further 2 videos, one finishing off the day-by-day tour and another one in which I'm going to keep a little bit of a surprise for you all. Sorry that the video is coming out over a month after the Olympics ended, but I do actually have a life outside of this and have been busy with university work as well. These videos are only going to get better with time as I do more of them, and hopefully my name pronunciation gets significantly better as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.